So here we have our tent set up, ready to go. It's a basic 4x6, nothing special going on here. Got a pair of lights up top for vegging and flowering. Like a little zip light here, this works for candle lighting and for just working in here with some white light. Clip fan. There's the air intake. Come around here, can fan with a filter. Filter area needs to be cleaned off still. We use a product called No Toil. It's designed for the motorcycle industry. These dust shrooms that I use are a soft foam, and they have a product specially made that's biodegradable, earth-friendly, that cleans the filters out and then re-oils the filter, and they're very effective. Fairly affordable, and they last quite a bit too. So there it is, all set up. Get those plugged in, hooked to a timer. And this is ready to receive some plants. Happy New Year and welcome to 2022. We're doing a little grow along tutorial type thing this year. And hopefully it's a little bit of fun, hopefully it's educational. We're gonna keep it light and simple. Some tips and tricks along the way. And see if we all can't learn a little something. So to start with, we're gonna start with seed this year, and we're gonna do this as our part of our plan. You need to have a plan when you start anything. Check off the boxes you need to check to make things go smooth along the way. And a lot of people, the plan might be when you start with your seed is what genetics do you select. It's going to be very much a personal decision depending on possible locations where you're growing at, temperatures, humidity levels, height restrictions, and so forth. So once those selections are made, that's something you have to make in your own mind of why you need something particular. Maybe it's saving money on a particular type of medicine that you need for yourself. You can grow it, save you a lot of money. That's the way to go. Anyway, make your selection, you acquire your seed, and then we go from there. Looking forward to having a fun time doing this with you guys. And let's get some seeds popping. For this first grow, I've selected 5 strains. A little bit of variety, see what we have to play with here. Some stuff I've grown before, stuff I've seen, some stuff's new. 6 seeds of each, so it's 30 seeds total. Should be quite manageable, and numbers come out right, we should have plenty of room in the tent for everything. Blood Moon, this is Moon Shadow times Colombian. Super Funk, UK Cheese times Alcatraz OG. Dark Salt is Dark Wood times the salt. In the Mist is Old Mendo Haze times Deadhead OG F2, the Sawtooth Pheno. Banana Faction, Banana OG F2 times West Coast Sour Diesel. So I popped these all in the tin here. These will head down to the veg room with me. Nice 78 to 80 degrees where it usually is down there. Perfect for germinating these. I'll check on them each day. Usually wait to the second or third day, usually the third day, till I pop them in the soil. And then we go from there and have fun. To maximize your success with starting seeds, definitely start with good seeds. Make sure you have clean water. Wash your hands first before you touch your seeds. Keep the environment stable. 80 degrees is fine as long as it's consistently 80. You don't want it to be 80 and then it goes up to 85, 90 and then back down to 60. That'll slow your germination down, give more chance for molds to take hold. A little bit of peroxide in the water seems to help with that too. Possible damp off, things like that might be on the seeds of bacteria and so forth. That helps mitigate some of that. But once they get going, the fun gets going. So let's do this. Alright, we're going to get some seeds germinated here. Now, there's lots of different methods to germinate seeds. Everyone has their preferred method possibly, and if you have a way you like to do it, then that's the way you should do it. We're going to do the paper towel method here. This is one that's worked for me for quite a while. I've used other methods as well. I'm going to start with taking this paper towel and wetting in it. Nice clean water. I cannot emphasize enough clean water. This is a filtered water. I also a little bit of hydrogen peroxide, a couple drops. It's also good to help if the outside of the seed might have a little something on it possibly. Take your paper towel, lay it out. I'm gonna take my seeds and put them on here. So one of the reasons I like to use trays, stuff with a rim. A dinner plate works well too. You don't lose seeds that way. They don't go flying around. I like to fold it up like so. Place it in a plastic bag. Have it labeled and you're good to go. Throw it into a container. Dark. 80 degrees. Usually if your bedroom is where you have it going at, this is the perfect area to set it at. It's usually good temperatures there. You can always use top of an appliance. Something like a cable box usually runs is rather warm. Heating pads you can use too. Be careful. You do not want to fry your seeds. They get too hot on there. They can go bad and not germinate. You might want to put a thermostat on there. Check your temperatures of any heating pads. Maybe put some insulating layers of paper or cardboard between the heating pad and the seeds themselves to make sure they don't get too hot. But that's it. Now we're going to have to wait a couple days for some tails to pop out, and these will go into the soil. And the real fun starts. All right, now that our seeds have germinated, most of them are all cracked out of the shell. It's time to get them into some soil. You can always use the regular soil that you veg in. I find sometimes a little bit hot for some of the seedlings, and you get a little curl leaves or a little damage you don't need to deal with. So I usually start with a seedling mix. This one here from Malibu Compost, the biodynamic mix is good. Black Gold, these are both organic. What I generally do is I'll buy a bag of each and I mix them together, and this will usually good for several seed starts. Now one thing we need to look at here is, this is an older bag I've had for a while, so it's halfway gone, but now, just sitting out, you can see how dry this is. This is going to be hard to water in your seeds when it's this dry. Now the Black Gold said it had a wetting agent in it. I've still experienced even with the wetting agent in the Black Gold mix, once it gets dry like this, it is hard to moisten enough so that you don't make a mess when you're trying to water everything in. So I simply take my mixed germination soils and I'll fill them into a bucket here. Let me do it down here so I don't make a mess. There we go, a little more than half what I had in there. Get a little more moisture in this mix. Simple enough is just add some water. And we can go just like that with it. Mix it up. I had a glove out, I can't find it. Don't want to get dirty. Just mix this all up. We're not looking for a wet soil, just something that holds its shape a little bit better. And what it looks like here, this stuff was really dry. It's a little better, but not yet there. Another, I'd say another 12 ounces of water possibly. Let me go grab that. Okay, I'm back. I found my glove. So we're going to throw another, this is about 8 to 10 ounces of water in here. And continue to mix this. We're looking for something like this. Slowly chunks apart. Not wet, but moistened. Then I need to get this whole batch like that. And then we'll start filling up the tray. I think we're there. That's going to work. I'll just keep it simple. A little scoop. I'll try to get these filled here without making too much of a mess. You can always take your pots to the soil. That's usually a good way of minimizing some mess too. Does make it a little harder to show you what I'm doing, so I'll do it this way and just be careful. So I like to get my soil on the inserts here. I'm using these small inserts here. They're only going to last us about a week and a half to 2 weeks after they get seeds popping out, because they're going to get root bound quick. But in case we have a couple duds or something that doesn't look happy enough, we'll just toss the whole thing out and not bother transplanting it. This will save us a little bit of soil and a little bit of space to start with. I'm doing 6 of each, so we'll take these here. And then let's see what we have ready to go. So we'll start with the banana faction. Banana OG-F2, across the West Coast Sour Diesel. And it looks like we have tails on 5 of the 6, and the 6th one here looks like it's just splitting open. So I imagine they're all going to pop fully here and break the soil for me. I like to take my little Sharpie. I know some people prefer to put them in a certain way up or down. I like to keep it nice and simple. So now you get your seeds in the soil. If I was to just come by with a water and pour them, it could uproot them, bury them deeper, make a mess. With these small little pots, a little squirt bottle like this usually does the trick. Now what I'll do is, when I'm completely done with all the rest of them, I'll come back and feel how heavy the pots are and the little trees and look at them. A lot of times I take another cup or 2 of water and I pour it right in the bottom of the tray and let it seep into the bottom. Gives them a nice even amount of water without washing anything away and disturbing it. Once you have the seedling break the soil and get a little bit of root mass in there, then you can water a little bit more aggressively without worrying about uprooting everything and making a mess. So very important too is make sure you label so you know what you got. So we're going to label this banana faction. At this point I just put 1 label per strain. I'll have these over here will be in rows of 6 long ways. And once they go into their individual pots and I sex them, then they'll all get their specific numbers of keepers. Once I put them in an upsized pot, each one will get a tag marking the strain name, and then I'll as we figure out the males and females, I'll toss the males out. I'm not keeping males for this. This is just to show everybody grow smoke for themselves, not for breeding purposes. But you can do that if you wanted. And then I'll label the remaining females with numbers, so I know which ones are which when I go to clone or smoke test, whatever the keepers are. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna do this with the other 4 strains I have, and then these are gonna go into the tent under a light, and I guess we're looking at 2 days, we'll have a bunch of stuff popping out of the ground, and in another couple weeks we'll be coming out of this pot into bigger pots. And we're well on our way to a nice growth.
Here you can see this guy here is totally shed his shell altogether. The root is now embedded a little bit, so you have to be very careful pulling this out. You just kind of tease it like so. And then into the holes. That's the super funk. Pretty vigorous germination on those. That's how we get them all in. I'll come back and check these, and if I need to, I'll give them a little more water if you don't want them to dry out when they're just starting for sure. So, little babies are tender right now, but they'll strengthen up and be tough, strong plants in no time. Alright, here's how I check these guys. I cut the cells apart, and a couple more of these cut here. Let's come in and grab one. I can look in the bottom. It's bone dry in the bottom. Kind of feels a little top heavy. It's still light in the bottom. So we're going to give them a little more moisture for sure. That's the whole tray. Yeah, it's definitely a little light. It could definitely use some more. So, with the spot open, I just pour in some plain water. Enough to cover the bottom. I'd say a little more than a 1/4 inch in there. About a quart total. A little bit of water. I put a few drops of Super Thrive for B vitamins in. Let's see. Still a little bit of water in there. Let's see here. I'd say it's getting there. And we'll check on them tomorrow. See how far the seedlings have popped out. See if they need a little more water or not. You can see here the water's already, that was underwater a second ago. Now it's strengthening it up, so. These guys are done. Alright. It's been in the dirt for a few days here. 100% of the super funk are all up and looking happy. 100% of banana faction. All the dark stalk have popped up. In the mist, I got 3 of them that are out. I got one that came up with out a head on it. Looks like just like one little leaf that kind of tried to grow, nothing happened. And then 2 with nothing yet. The blood moon. None of them have hit the surface yet. I did dig this one up over here, and it had maybe a 3 centimeter tail sticking out of the seed, so they're just really popping off slow. It's about 4-year-old stock on these, but maybe a little scuff on the edge of the seat would have helped them. It looked really, really good, so I'm sure they'll all pop up. Just might take a couple days longer. There we have it. Stuff's all popping up looking good. So here I dug up one of the blood moon seeds. You see it's just starting to pop out of the end. I really should have scuffed these. They seem like they're really thick holes on the shells. Oops. Shit. Well, it's down there somewhere. I'll have to find it again. But a little scuff on the edges, they might have popped open a little bit easier. They're definitely viable. They're nice bright white inside when they pop open. It's just they're having a hard time cracking that shell open. So I'm going to dig these up and see if I can't tease them without breaking them. Maybe we'll still have these to play with. Alright, a few days after being in the soil, everything's popping up pretty good. I had the one in the mist that has no top. So that'll get tossed. One little runt, but the rest of them all came up. The blood moon, the one that I had dug up that had the tail on it, that one's popped. The other ones I didn't dig up haven't popped up out of the soil yet. I might go into the soil a little bit today and explore them and see if I have germinated seeds, or we only got one of these for this. We'll see. The rest of them are up though, and as you can see here, they're getting floppy, so I prop up some of these. A lot of times you get a little bit more light. It helps with stretch, as does a light breeze sometimes helps strengthen these by a little bit of movement they exhibit. Helps strengthen the stems. But for now, I just take the paper clips, unfold them into little supports. That's that.
Alright, at this point, we're going to bring this first show to an end. This is a bit of a learning curve for me. I've never done this before, so some technical issues through the way I'm working through. I'm going to keep working through it and figuring it out. And feedback, I really appreciate your feedback. And you guys can tolerate putting up with me learning how to do this while I'm doing it. That would be great too. Looking forward to answering questions. Like I said, it's a show. I'm going to try to do it very simple like. I'm going to do a lot of one take through. Not a lot of scripted bits of any sort. Just shoot from the hip. You're going to get me as I am. Some of my opinions you might not agree with. That's everyone's perfect right to do. Don't matter to me. Anyway, I think it's going to be the end of the first show. I'm going to try to get a little more organized for the future shows here. If I can get things figured out on the technical side a little better, I'll be a little quicker with getting the videos out. And hopefully we can make this educational and fun, and I'll be able to keep producing stuff that you guys enjoy. Thanks a bunch. Have a good one. Make 2022 awesome.